You wanna know how much IVF costs? Well, you came to the right place. Hi everyone, my name is Alicia and I wanted to do a quick video to give you some information about how much IVF costs. First of all, it's extremely expensive. Don't do it. Just kidding. No, it's worth every penny. If you're new here, I am the proud mother of 1-year-old IVF twins, and we conceived them back in 2018. And we had a successful IVF first try. I did a 3-part series on my IVF story, so I'll go ahead and link that for you if you'd like to check out my story. But let's get into how much IVF costs. So a lot of people think that IVF is just, you take some medication, they go in, get your eggs, they put it with your husband or your partner's sperm, and then you have a baby, and that's it. There's more to it because there are tests, pre-routine tests that you have to take in order for you to begin IVF. So your IVF clinic is gonna wanna know your general health. The first thing that they're gonna want you to do is to have a pap smear and also an HPV test. So you can do this at your doctor's office, and that should be covered by your insurance and should hopefully be zero cost to you, except maybe a copay. Another thing, you need to get tested for infectious diseases. So HIV, I believe hepatitis B and C, and syphilis. Again, you should be able to do this at your personal doctor's office, and again, you may not even have to do a copay because it's just probably just gonna be blood labs. So that should cost you zero. The next thing is health screenings. And if you have a good gynecologist, she probably would be able to hook you up with this. Basically, she could order these tests for you and just not put them under fertility. So some people have the luxury of having fantastic insurance that covers their infertility 100%. While others, like me and my husband, we had a small network. It was a small firm that we worked for, not that many employees. So infertility was not included. So everything was out of pocket. But for a lot of these, what do they call, routine labs and health screens, a lot of these you can do with your actual primary doctor or your gynecologist. If your fertility doctor finds any type of fibroids or cysts, fibroids in my case, you may need to undergo a surgery. I had a myomectomy, polypectomy done, and I also was able to do this with my primary care doctors. If you have the fertility doctor do it, it would be, I think it was gonna be about $1,500 if he were to go in and remove the fibroids for me, but I just got that taken care of at my primary doctor. And I wanna say my out of pocket for that was about $100. That just was through my insurance for my outpatient cover. Some people choose to do some holistic type things to assist with their IVF, maybe a fertility massage or hypnosis. I did fertility acupuncture, and I did it for about 2 months, and I did it right before I actually started taking the IVF medications. And I really didn't enjoy fertility acupuncture, but I really feel that it helped. I feel that it prepped my uterus and cleaned it out to get it ready for implantation. It's expensive. So this usually isn't covered by insurance. Some insurances may, but likely this will be an out of pocket cost for you. So it's usually anywhere between $200 to $300 for just the initial consultation, and then it's $100 per visit. So it depends on what your fertility acupuncture specialist recommends, but I only had to come once a week, and so it's about around $100. And they also have these herbs that they recommend that you take, and those could be anywhere between $20 to $35 per bottle, and they give you multiple herbs. So you're looking at another $65 to $100 more a month. So I would say about $400 or $500 a month for fertility acupuncture out of pocket, and I did it for, like I said, for 2 months. So I live in California, which is one of the most expensive states to live in. So my IVF fertility clinic may cost more than maybe somewhere in Texas or Tennessee, not sure where you're from, or even if you're from out of the country. There were 2 options with my fertility clinic for the IVF, and there was either a single cycle plan, which was $9,500, or a 2-cycle plan, which was $17,500. So with the single cycle plan, that is 1 egg retrieval, and with your implant, and then the 2-cycle plan was 2 egg retrievals. So I did the 2-cycle plan. You'd think that the price would stop there. No, there's the medications, the testing, ICSI. There's so much more to IVF than you think. Just getting the eggs out and it's $20,000. No, there's a lot more to it. So we did the 2-cycle plan, $17,500, but the medication was close to $20,000. Now, before you jump off the cliff, we took the recommendation of the IVF clinic. There are ways to get discounted medications. You can get it from out of the country. The problem though is that you do run into customs issues just depending on the season, so it could potentially delay your IVF. But these medications that are from other countries are just as good as the ones that are in the US, but like I said, you could run into a delayed IVF due to customs. We wanted to hurry up and get this done and going. I was about to turn 39. I didn't want to have any delays. So we went with an expensive pharmacy that was in our same state. And going back, do I have any regrets and wish I would have did a little bit more research? Not really, because I got the result that I wanted, which is my 2 beautiful, healthy children. So I have no regrets about the money I spent, but I could have saved money if I did a little bit more research. And I definitely would recommend that you do a little research into the medication, because we spent more on the medication than the actual IVF, which is crazy. Another thing, some people choose to do PGS testing, and we did not do PGS testing. I may do another video on that, why we didn't, but mainly it was because the doctor didn't recommend it for us. Because I had low amount of eggs, he didn't want to mess with the embryos too much. But if we were to have done PGS testing, for up to 6 embryos for them to test would have been $4,500. And that was only per cycle. So if we were to get 4 or 5 embryos the first round, that would have been $4,500. If we would have done a second round and whatever embryos we got for that, that would have been another $4,500. So it could potentially cost $9,000 for PGS testing if you do 2 cycles. Another thing that it wasn't offered in my area, I would have had to go down south, but the ERA test, this has been very, very popular with a lot of people who've had successful IVFs, and they highly recommend it. It runs around $1,000 for that test. Another thing that we ended up having to do, or it was recommended for us to do, was ICSI, which is I'll put the whole word out here. I can't think of it right now. It's ICIS or something like that. Basically what it is they take one of your husband or your partner's sperm and insert it through a syringe directly into the egg, versus putting the eggs into the petri dish and putting in the sperm and letting the fertilization happen kind of naturally. Not all of the eggs usually get fertilized that way. So because I had just a few eggs, the doctor recommended that we do ICSI. So during each retrieval, it cost us $1,500 to add that extra feature. Another thing, after you've done IVF, you may have some leftover embryos. So you may want to go back and have another baby or whatever you decide to do, but there is embryo storage, and my embryo storage is $350 a year. Okay, so what was the grand total after testing, any out-of-pocket, medications, the ICSI, all that extra stuff? $40,000. Yep, I look at each of my babies, I'm like, you're $20,000, you know that? But anyways, I hope this video was helpful to you. Don't forget to hit that like button if this video helped you. And if you are new, be sure to subscribe, because I put out a video every week and you don't want to miss out.